12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
We begin tonight with breaking news and new details on a shooting involving Phoenix police. All of this started with a shots fired call that came out at about 2:50 this afternoon near 33rd Avenue in Northern. Phoenix police say one man shot another man who was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Police then tracked the suspect to an apartment complex near 27th Avenue in Cactus. And when they tried arresting him, the man pulled out a handgun and started shooting at officers. An officer then returned fire, hitting the suspect, who was later pronounced dead. No officers were injured. Police say this investigation remains active tonight, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Also developing tonight, a little boy continues to fight for his life after sheriff's deputies say the 3-year-old accidentally shot himself. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Caribe Divine.
I'm Mark Curtis. It happened at an East Mesa RV park off of Main Street and Crisman Road. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live there tonight. And Chase, neighbors understandably are just devastated.
Mark Reba, they tell us they see little kids playing out in these streets almost every day. But today, those streets were filled with sheriff's deputies, even at this hour, hours after this shooting, as part of their investigation. It's the last thing you want to see in your neighborhood.
I'm still kind of shaken, had tears.
Barbara Rao watched as Maricopa County Sheriff's deputies took over.
I seen the lights and then 2 ambulances and then another sheriff.
While they've been here in the past, it's never been for this reason.
But not for something so tragic like the little boy that got shot.
On Thursday afternoon, deputies got the call of a shooting. When they arrived, they found a 3-year-old boy who accidentally shot himself in the head. Emergency crews airlifted the little boy to a nearby hospital. They say he suffered life-threatening injuries. As people like Jennifer Worth, living in that same RV park, returned home and learned about the situation, they were mortified.
Very upsetting and nerve-wracking, especially since it's so close.
Worth says she lives close to where the shooting occurred and wonders how something like this could happen.
That's devastating. He's 3. I don't understand how a 3-year-old can have a gun in their hands in the first place, let alone shoot themselves. So it's just very upsetting.
Now, everyone we spoke with today said that they're praying for a miracle that this little boy will be okay. Now, we did reach out again to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office for an update shortly before the newscast. They said there's no new information to provide. Of course, we'll keep asking about that boy's condition and how exactly he obtained that firearm. For now, we're live in East Mesa. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. New at 10, an Arizona woman has been indicted in a series of complex identity theft cases that have been generating money for the North Korean government. According to the Department of Justice, Christina Marie Chapman was recently arrested in Litchfield Park. The conspiracy involves thousands of North Korean IT workers who prosecutors say are dispatched by the government to obtain employment at prominent U.S. companies using stolen identities. Officials say Chapman operated several laptop farms where companies would send computers and paychecks, not realizing the workers were actually overseas. The State Department is now offering a reward of up to $5 million for information about those workers. For more details on this story, you can head to our website, 12news.com.
Tonight, all lanes of Interstate 10 near Tonopah are back open tonight after a crash that killed 2 Amazon delivery workers this afternoon. We've been following the crash since it was breaking news on 12 News at 4. 12 News journalist Jonathan McCall has the very latest on what we know right now.
Tonight, the search for answers now underway after 2 workers delivering on behalf of Amazon died in a crash on I-10 near Tonopah. The crash causing major backups for miles. In fact, one driver telling 12 News it took him 3 hours just to drive 6 miles. Video from Sky 12 showing the massive aftermath. Packages being hauled by that 18-wheeler littering the center median. The cab split from the trailer after hitting a concrete pillar. Troopers say all of it the result of a possible tire blowout.
It's not uncommon that trucks like this do have blowouts and tread come off the tire.
David Klink is a personal injury lawyer and handles cases involving 18-wheeler crashes. He says investigators are looking at a number of different factors.
Unlike some other crashes, you actually have a lot of data to piece together what happened in a commercial truck crash.
If tires are to blame, he says investigators will take a hard look at maintenance on that 18-wheeler and whether the tires were defective.
If you have proper preservation of evidence and proper preservation of the exact tire that blew, you can kind of piece together why it broke apart and whether or not anything could have been done to prevent it from breaking apart.
Amazon telling 12 News its drivers are hired through a third-party company and said in part, quote, "We're incredibly saddened to learn of this tragic accident, and our thoughts are with the victims' families and loved ones during this difficult time." Just last April, an Amazon 18-wheeler went up in flames near the mini stack in Phoenix. The driver in this incident not hurt, but the freeway was closed for a number of hours. The wreckage so large after the flames were put out, it had to be cut into pieces to haul away. So ADOT engineers called to that scene near Tonopah today to inspect the concrete pillars hit by that 18-wheeler. We're told it did suffer some minor damage, but it is still safe for cars and other vehicles to drive on. So far tonight, DPS has not released the name of the workers who were killed in this afternoon's crash. Jonathan McCall, 12 News.
Jonathan, thanks. The city of Phoenix is launching a new bulk trash pickup program. Starting September 30th, you'll be able to schedule a time that works for you to have your bulk trash picked up. City officials say on top of being more convenient, it could also help keep your neighborhood a little cleaner.
Currently, we tell them a year in advance when they're going to when they can place their material out, and it might not be convenient for them at that time. We do have people that put out early, maybe because they're not available the week that we are allowing collection. So it's just a way to get the material off the ground as soon as we know that material needs to be collected.
There's no new fee for this service, and residents can start making appointments as early as August.
New at 10, if we could make it rain, would we do that? Well, scientists around the world and even in Arizona's neighboring states are already doing that. And now researchers are testing to see if cloud seeding could be a possibility here in Arizona. 12 News journalist
Arizona has been in a drought for 30 years. Experts don't predict that will change anytime soon, but researchers say a decades-old technology could maybe improve conditions.
A lot of times the clouds aren't the most efficient at producing precipitation or snowfall.
Cloud seeding is a weather modification that improves a cloud's ability to produce rain or snow, according to the Desert Research Institute. But to understand cloud seeding, Arizona state climatologist Erin Ann Saffel says one must first understand how precipitation works.
The normal natural process in the atmosphere to get precipitation, to get rain and snow, you got to get those droplets bigger so that they fall down under the force of gravity.
Sometimes nature can't make the droplets big enough on its own, so scientists discovered when a storm system is moving through, a compound called silver iodide can help nature along.
What that does is it draws more moisture and makes those droplets a little bit bigger so that they'll fall down under the force of gravity.
Like any perfect storm, a number of factors must first fall into place for cloud seeding to exist.
You're kind of limited to kind of high elevation areas where you have mountain barriers, so the geography's right, the elevation is right, and then you have frequent winter storms that have the clouds that are favorable for cloud seeding.
James Walter, the manager of water management at SRP, says there aren't many places in Arizona that fit that mold. But with the Desert Research Institute, they found the White Mountains could be an ideal location for cloud seeding.
From the past winter storms that we analyzed was that 80% of them had conditions that were favorable for cloud seeding over the White Mountains.
Walter says cloud seeding typically increases snowfall by about 10%. The snowfall turns into snowpack that melts into runoff and fills rivers and reservoirs, all of which could benefit the surrounding region.
There have been some wonderful studies recently out of Wyoming and Idaho that have been giving some pretty definitive proof that the technology and the science works.
Saffel says she thinks there's still more to learn about this emerging science.
There's a lot of things that we don't understand about cloud seeding. And so, forcing that precipitation, is it always going to happen? No. We're putting the ingredients together in the atmosphere to try and get precipitation, but there's no guarantee if that's going to happen.
But researchers are hopeful it could one day lead Arizona in a wetter direction.
It's not on the table at the moment, but for sure this study is definitely positive for the area that we looked at.
In Phoenix, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Gabby, thanks. Still ahead.